Forget Blue Monday. Coronation Street's Gail Platt is having a whole blue January. I can reveal Richard Hillman, her ex-husband and one of the greatest soap villains of all time, is coming back to Weatherfield. But not how you might think. Gail, who he tried to alongside her kids David and Sarah and granddaughter Bethany in his final act of revenge, will speak to the murderer in a conversation with a clairvoyant. And the mystic Meg wannabe will be a familiar face, as she will be played by Harry Potter star Sophie Thompson, sister of A-lister Emma. It comes after I revealed yesterday another ex-husband Martin Platt was returning to the cobbles after 13 years away. A street source said, Richard coming back will get fans talking massively. He was one of the most terrifying characters ever to step onto the cobbles. He won't be on screen, but his conversations with Gail will form a major storyline over the coming weeks. Bosses have got a big name in Sophie to play the clairvoyant too. It should be a real trip down memory lane for Gail. But I'm told despite looking legit on the surface, the supernatural-loving new signing might not be all she's cracked up to be. The source added, the story is going to run for a few weeks and Sophie's character has a bit of a backstory too. It's not clear whether she might have a previous link to Richard, but she's certainly a mixed bag. Richard, played by Brian Capron, has been voted one of the greatest villains in soap history, and rightly so. His reign of terror saw him, his ex-wife Patricia and Maxine Peacock, set his mother-in-law Audrey's house on fire, and tried to Emily Bishop for money. But his parting shot was trying to Gail and her family by driving the family car into the canal. She will be sticking to Ubers from now on. Haircut. Prince William forks out £180 for #1 buzz kit to silence Harry's baldness. Digs. Pictures make Emmy cry. Ewan McGregor's 15-year-old daughter slams actor in emotional song. Tears at body trolls. Scarlett Moffat hits back at Instagram jibes as she battles anxiety. Rain forecast. EastEnders troublemaker Rainy Cross returns to Albert Square. Platt to the future. Quarry legend Sean Wilson returns to the cobbles as Martin Platt. Read more from Dan Wooden's bizarre TV column. Grin and bear it. Lucy after a grim year on Coronation Street. It's nice to see actress Lucy Fallon with a grin on her face. The star, who plays Bethany on the cobbles, joined co-star Rob Mallard on the This Morning sofa yesterday. She spoke about this week's explosive episode in which Bethany is found working at a lap dancing club by boyfriend Craig. Meanwhile, Rob accidentally confirmed my story from last month, when I told you the returning Carla Connor, played by Allison King, would shack up with his character Daniel Osborne. When asked if Daniel and his former sister-in-law will get together for a fling, Rob said, yeah, it's Carla. You can say it. I just wasn't sure whether I was allowed. Don't worry, Rob. I beat you to it. She left Coronation Street in 1973 after her character Elaine Perkins turned down Ken Barlow's marriage offer. And Joanna Lumley has revealed she rejected another Corey proposal more recently, this time from soap bosses wanting her to return. She said, 3 years ago they said, would you fancy picking this up again? They wanted Elaine Perkins to come back. I said yes. They said, these are the dates when we are filming, but it was when I was doing one of my travel pieces for ITV. It was a pain. I think I am past it now. But Ken is still around. Joanna reflected on Ken, played by William Roach, getting down on one knee at the end of her original 8-episode stint. She added, Ken came round to my posh house and asked me to marry him, and Elaine said that Coronation Street was too boring. Britain hated me and I left. Joanna redeemed herself by forming a more enduring twosome with Jennifer Saunders in Absolutely Fabulous, so all is forgiven. Must watch what? Room 101, BBC One, 8:30 p.m. Why? Jeremy Paxman is one of the guests who has to decide what objects, people and events are a worse nightmare. The former Newsnight host picks David Cameron. Rainy's moving back and there's a rainy cloud over Albert Square tonight, as one of the soap's most notorious troublemakers returns. I can reveal Tanya Branning's wild sister Rainy Cross. Tanya Franks is heading back to EastEnders 3 years after fleeing in disgrace. She's unlikely to get a warm welcome, with residents worried the drug addict will bring her usual trail of destruction with her. Soap source said, Rainy has always been bad news, so her return will raise more than a few eyebrows. She's coming back briefly to join her family and saying an emotional goodbye to Abby Branning, but then she'll make a full return. While she has always promised to change, she has never managed to shake those demons. Rainy was last seen stealing from her mother, Cora, before fleeing Walford, having embarked on a drug-fueled descent into chaos alongside Phil Mitchell, above. She's the latest classic character to return to the soap after veteran boss John York began reviving its fortunes. Jessie Wallace is back as Kat Slater and Tamsin Outhwaite is also reprising her role as Melanie Owen. Tanya said, "It's like I've never been away. I love working with everyone at EastEnders. With John York at the helm at the moment, the show is in good hands and I'm excited to explore the next chapter in Rainie's journey."